Hi everyone, we continue with product absorption costing. Today we're going to talk about overhead absorption rate. For overhead absorption rate, the formula is budgeted overhead divided by budgeted labor hours or machine or unit. So it depends on whatever we're being given. If we're using machines, it will be divided by the hours of machine. If we are using workers, it will be based on the numbers of hours workers have worked or units. So the formula for overhead absorption rate is budgeted overheads divided by budgeted labor hours or slash machine hours slash unit. So we have a question already. ABC Limited has two departments, production department, and finishing department. The budgeted overheads for the two departments for the coming year are as follows. So for the budget, we have two departments for ABC Limited, production department and finishing department. So for their fixed overhead is 120,000 euros. For variable overheads, for production department is 80,000 euros. For finishing department, the fixed overhead is 18,000 and the variable overhead is 30,000. So we're told to now say the ABC Limited estimates budgeted direct labor hours for each department to be as follows. So the production hours is 20,000. For production hours, 20,000, and for finishing is 60,000. So they said we should calculate the overhead absorption rate, both fixed and variable costs for each department based on direct labor hours. So we have our direct labor hours for production department, which is 20,000, and for finishing department, which is 6,000. Okay, so how do we go about it? So we start with production department. So for production department, we have department, the fixed cost, and variable cost. So the first one is the production department. So for production department, we need to calculate the absorption rates, right? For production, we have the absorption rates. Everything should be in euros. So for absorption rate, we said absorption rate is budgeted overhead divided by budgeted labor hours. So our budgeted overhead is 120,000 for fixed costs. So it's 120,000 divided by budgeted labor hours, which is 20,000. So that's 20,000. So here we have 0, 0, 0, 0. So here we have 6. So 6 euros is the fixed cost per rate. Then for the variable cost, for production department, we're going to have, variable cost for production department, still the same, 80,000 euros divided by 20,000. So the variable cost here is 4 euros. So we are done with production department. Now we go to finishing department. Sorry, I'm bad guys. I'm sorry for that about the noise and. So we're done with production department. So the next one is the finishing department. For finishing department, we have 18,000 divided by the labor hour, which is 6,000. Then that's for fixed cost. Then for variable cost, we have 30,000 divided by 6,000. So here we have 3 euros. Here we have 5 euros. So this is the fixed rates for each department. So we are done with the first question, which says we should calculate the overhead absorption for both fixed costs and variable costs for each department. So for question B, they said the details of a customer's job number 639 are as follows: direct materials, direct labor hours production for production department, labor hours for finished department. We are told to calculate the total cost for job number 639. So to calculate the total cost, here we have our total cost. Then in euros. So we're going to start first with the direct material. We have direct material, which is 2,700. Then we have direct labor, direct labor. We have direct labor, which is 1,100. Now we have the overheads. For our overheads, the first one is for the production department. We have the production department. Production. So for production department, the cost for fixed is 6 and the variable cost is 4. And we have labor hours is here. The labor hours here for production is 6. So which means 6 euros multiplied by 6 for fixed cost. So that's our fixed cost. Let's pay our here separately. So for production department, we have fixed cost. For production department, we have fixed cost, which is 6 euros multiplied by 6. So that is 36. Then for variable cost, it is 4 euros still multiplied by 6. That is the labor hours. Labor hour multiplied by the rates for fixed and for variable cost. So that's 24. So here we have 0.60. So for production department, the overhead for production department is 60. Then we have finishing department. So for finishing department, we have finishing department. Finishing. The fixed cost for finishing department is 3 and 5. So 3 multiplied by 3, 5 multiplied by 3. So for fixed cost is 3 euros multiplied by 3. For variable cost, it's 5 euros multiplied by 3. So we have 9 and we have 5 times 3, 15. Yeah, that's 25. Do we get that? So from here we had 9 plus 15, is it 25? No, 24. That's 24, sorry. That's 24. So from here we have the total cost to be direct material, direct labor with plus overhead. So we're going to have 4, 2 plus 6, 8, and 3. So it's 3,884. So these are our total costs. So the total cost is 3,884. So now that we have our total cost, we're told to find, the last question says, calculate the selling price if the markup cost is 20%. So we need to calculate the selling price. So we have this. So for the selling price, the selling price will be the total cost. The total cost is 3,884. 3,884. Then we have our markup selling price. So we add markup. Markup is 20% of 3,884. Sorry, please. So we have 20 multiplied by 3,884 divided by 100. So our markup is 776. So we have 776.80. That's our markup. So this will give us our selling price. So the selling price is 3,884 plus. So the selling price is 4,660.80. So that's how to calculate the selling price, the total cost, and overhead absorption rate. Thank you and see you in the next class.